Your attention, please. And now, on with the show.
Coming to you from Quarantine, New York, it's Unger the Radar, starring Randy Unger. Brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Tonight, we're going to be reviewing the new films The Etruscan Smile and The Assistant, with special guest critics Jennifer Cové and Chris Clemente. And now, here's your host, Randy Unger.
Hey guys, welcome to Under the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger, where we talk all things film. And right now I have via Zoom, way of the future, right? We've got Jennifer Cové. Hello.
Hi.
And Chris Clemente. Hello, sir.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, good. My wonderful panel of critics. How's everything going, guys? How are you doing during the pandemic? I haven't really seen you in a while. Jen, what's going on?
No, I mean, just hanging out,
watching
stuff. I mean, I unfortunately can't work. Like, I don't have a job that can be done at home, and it's not considered essential because it's not like a hospital, a nurse, whatever. Like, I can still do some amount of work, but it's not a lot. So I've really just been doing projects at home.
Okay.
I catch up on stuff that I wouldn't have normally done with my free time, I guess.
Cool. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, since the pandemic started, I've been doing these little segment called Pandemic Picks, and you should insert a nice graphic right there. Jen, what have you been watching to keep yourself sane?
I've actually been watching reruns of Cheers. I've never. No, you're laughing, but I always liked it. I never watched it from beginning to end. Because you just catch it when it would pop on TV, So, but this is it's on Netflix and Hulu, so we've been watching it in order from the beginning, so we can actually see the live stuff. I started Tiger yesterday. I finally
caught that, yeah.
Peer pressure into it, but I got 2 things in. It was what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I love stuff styled like that. I think I'm overwhelmed by the meme, everybody else talking about it, that I haven't developed my own opinion. It's just all the jokes that I remember from Facebook.
I don't know. I only watched the first episode of it. Maybe it takes a few episodes to get into it to really appreciate what's going on.
Yeah, I only watched 2 or 3. I can't remember how many.
I mean, I'll give it another shot,
Yeah.
Yeah, I caught up with Tiger King, and in my opinion, kind of falls apart really fast. And yeah. Oh, I'm glitching?
Yeah, a little bit.
How about now?
Good. You're good now.
Zoom
life.
Yeah. No, I just like my glitching. Tiger King is a big glitch. It's
nice.
It falls apart way too soon, and I really didn't feel for the character.
Well, that's kind of the thing about that. I thought maybe as I got further in, I would definitively like one person more than the other, but right now I think they're all crazy. So
yeah, because no one's out for the benefit of the animal,
Right, exactly.
So,
that's and all these people are not really people I'd want to associate with. So
right, yeah.
Basically, they're comparing the humans to the animals in terms of behavior.
Yes.
We're the real animals.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, going in, everyone's advocating, the wildlife and tigers and big cats, and being the advocate and spokesperson for them. And then, sure enough, who's selling tigers to what felon so that they can, move on with their life and get money to pay this guy off, and who's out, wanting to hire to kill, who, and it just doesn't really benefit the tiger. So,
right. Well, it seemed more about them than the animal. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it another go. We'll see. But I'll tell you, I just finished the other day Ozark. season 3.
Gotta catch up with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I know what it is though.
Guys are okay because one of the movies
Yeah.
we're talking about today has one of the main actresses, Julia.
Yeah, I know what it is. I don't watch a lot of, like modern TV. So like I watch like Cheers, Friends, Boy Meets World. Like I watch stuff that's been out for like 40 years.
Nice.
And I've seen it over and over. I watch TV shows now. I think because I'm not like a streaming person. I think if they were on TV once a week, I would do it. But
Yeah.
I'm not a binge watcher at all.
I think the last show I like looked forward to every week was Parks and Recreation.
I like that show. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did watch
coming
Umbrella
back.
on Netflix.
Yeah.
Season 1, I watched all that. That's like the most recently made show that I think I've like watched from beginning to end so far.
Yeah, and Parks and Recs are coming back for a charity episode.
I saw that.
Yep. Cool. Yeah. So you posted that, Chris.
Yeah, I did.
I take it you're a big fan.
Big fan. Actually, like it's kind of interesting with these like comedy mockumentaries. They're coming back. Apparently, Netflix is losing The Office, so they responded by creating their own version of The Office with Steve Carell. So they're going to be having it's called Space Force. And it has to do with Steve Carell leading a team of astronauts in space. That's Office-esque. So
I love it.
Right.
That should be
Did hear about that.
Yeah, HBO Max bought The Office and Friends and like a bunch of other things. I think so. Something like that. It's not maybe it's not HBO Max, but it's something along those lines. So all the shows are moving to a different streaming service.
Very cool. You guys been watching any movies as well?
Trying to think. Well, I mean, I've been watching movies, but again, it's like stuff that's been out for a while. I haven't
That's
watched
fine.
it.
The older the better.
I was really upset that they had to push Mulan. I mean, obviously because we were in the middle of like lockdown, shelter in, whatever we're calling it. But
yeah, that's
I was looking forward to that for literally 10 years. Probably.
I know you wanted to be on the show and review it. And
I know. I was like, I mean, my phone is like all Mulan stuff. Like people give me gifts. I have a Mulan puzzle over there that I was working on.
Is that your favorite Disney?
That is my favorite movie ever.
Oh wow!
Nice.
I also know like a lot about the folklore and like all of that. It's just the story I like in general, and then obviously I'm a huge big Disney fan, and everybody knows that. So like together, it's like my two favorite things.
Cool. Have you ever cosplayed as Mulan or any of the characters?
Well, when I was little, I used to dress as her all the time because she's been my favorite. I saw it in the theater when I was a kid, and it was my favorite ever since. But now, I mean, that's kind of a tricky thing because a lot of times, like if you cosplay as something that's like not your ethnicity, you kind of get a little hate for that. So like if I ever did that, I would wear her dress, but I would do like Ariel or somebody else. So it's like another princess wearing her costume. That's like a little bit of more of an acceptable thing. People do that.
Like
so like yeah, so like I've seen a bunch of girls who are like dressed as Tiana, but they're like actually supposed to be like Cinderella in Tiana's outfit, and then they'll do it with another girl who's like Tiana but dressed in Cinderella. So it like looks like they're like sharing their, experience as a princess or whatever.
That's an interesting issue actually in terms of cosplaying and representing certain ethnicities.
Right. Well, because you don't want to take away from like somebody's experience in that way, but I do love like I would be doing it out of the love of the character in the film. Not because I want to make fun of Asian people or whatever.
Right. No, because I have a friend who's African American, and he does a great. He does Batman, and he does many versions of the Jack Nicholson version of Joker, But there are some characters that you can get away with that. Like, I feel like Cinderella is a really good example because, like, I've seen Cinderellas in all different ethnicities, but rarely do you see Rapunzel in other than just like a blonde girl or like blonde wig or whatever. And then like Tiana, you can't really do that because most of the story is just about her race. Like that's a big part of the character. It's like tricky to pick which characters it works for and which ones it doesn't. Tiana's the first African American Disney princess, right?
Disney princess, yeah.
Oh, cool.
I love her. I think she's great. I thought that was like a really underrated Disney film. They are making another like an African princess. Like I think it's supposed to be like in Africa. I think that's the one that they're working on next. And then they just had Moana, which is she's not like African American or anything like that, but
Polynesian, right? Or
she's Polynesian. I think it's another ethnic princess that they've added to the lineup, which I think is really nice too.
Cool. Chris, what do you think of that minorities and Disney characters or animated characters in general being represented
By cosplay, I think.
Yeah.
No, I think that's. I think Jen. I think you hit it. You nailed it when you said, you're representing the character out of love and respect out of it. So,
Right.
you're not doing any discredit towards it. So why not? And I think it's kind of cool to do a mashup with other characters.
That's my favorite kind.
It shows like more of the Disney love, So
Yeah.
kudos to you. That's cool.
That is
Thank
cool.
Yeah.
Chris, do you cosplay at all? Have you ever, or do you take Halloween seriously at all, or?
I used to. I haven't like dressed up in a while, but maybe soon.
Okay.
I'm just, with the beard, I don't know what I can go as now. I have
young Santa. Oh.
I have the physique of the Django wrestler, the Django Unchained wrestler. So that's my cosplay.
Go is that?
All right.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me is like I don't actually there are people who are like cosplayers, you know what I'm saying? I'm not like a cosplayer in the sense of like I don't go to cons and stuff like that. I have, but that's not like my thing. I mostly go to like children's hospitals and stuff like that. So like people are like, "Oh, you cosplay," and I'm like, I guess you can kind of call it that, but like it's really more for kids and because I love it, so I can share that knowledge with people who are gonna appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm sure like that's even better because I'm sure the reactions that you get are just so pure from.
I've done a bunch like of calls during this. So like a lot of kids with Make-A-Wish, their wish is to go to Disney, but they can't. So like now we're calling them so that they can have like an hour Skype chat with whoever they choose.
Yeah. Oh, are you doing like screeners, like just phone interviews as the character?
Yeah, now
that's nice.
A drive-by is one as well.
Oh, cool. Cool.
I try to do for like people in need, but in this case, everybody's kind of in need right now. So.
Yeah. But children in particular, like this is the time more than any that I mean.
Right. Exactly.
In terms of the pandemic, I mean, I can't even imagine kids these days how confused they must be.
A lot of them are really confused. I mean, I work with kids too, on the side, and then I have like a million cousins. But I like my friend's daughter. She's like 3 or 4. And she like refers to it like as everybody being sick. So like she'll be like, well, when everybody's better, will I be allowed to go back to school? And it's kind of sweet. She's like viewing it as something totally different than what adults are viewing it as.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great that you're keeping the spirit alive and
yeah, well, I love kids. That's my favorite. Cool. Besides theater, kids are like my second favorite thing.
Cool.
All right, guys. So aside from cosplay and cheering the hearts of children, we've got 2 films to talk about tonight. Sadly, though, Chris, you did not get to see one of them, which is
I did not. No.
a shame. But we will work around that. It'll be fine.
Cool.
It'll be fine.
We can still discuss the issues.
Yes, of course, the core of the film. But basically, the first film is called The Etruscan Smile, and it's based on Spanish economist and author José Luis Sempredo's best-selling novel, The Etruscan Smile, or La Sonrisa Etrusca. There's my Spanish accent.
Oh my gosh. That puts this movie in a whole different context.
Does it? Did you pay to go see my performance?
Yes.
But basically, guys, I thought this was just talking
about cosplay and not trying to represent other races.
Right.
This is a very non-Spanish related film.
I might cosplay as Brian Cox just for that.
Well, I actually was reading, so like a lot of the times, or every time with any film, I will, after the movie or before the movie, I'll read like the cast, the synopsis, like if it's based on the novel, whatever. And the book itself is not. I mean, it's the same story, the same plot line as this, but they change the culture. Yeah.
Right.
So
like, he's not Scottish in the book at all.
Instead of a Spanish country, it was so Brian Cox plays a father. He's this gruff Scottishman who basically he's threatened with a life-threatening illness, and basically goes to San Francisco to visit his son and get treatment at a special facility there. And in doing so, he connects with his grandson and his son and his daughter-in-law. And it's actually a really bittersweet film and heartwarming. and featuring a phenomenal performance by Brian Cox, who he's been around for. He's a Shakespearean actor.
Yeah.
He was actually the first actor to play Hannibal Lecter in the 80s, a movie called Manhunter. But a lot of people probably know him from X-Men 2 and Rushmore, and a bunch of other things. He's a very versatile actor, and I think this movie, I sense an award in his future for this.
He was phenomenal, but I have to say, everybody was really, really good. There wasn't anybody that was like, oh, please get this person like another role. You know what I mean? And I think that adds to it when you have a whole cast of people that are really working with you and you feel a chemistry. In general, I think that brings up somebody's performance a notch. You know?
Yeah, and this is an ensemble cast too.
Absolutely, yeah.
Supporting Brian Cox, we've got Rosanna Arquette, Thora Birch.
I was pleasantly surprised to see Thora Birch. It's been a long time since I've seen her in anything.
I really haven't seen her in much in like the last 20 years since American Beauty.
She did American Beauty. She was in Now and Then. She was in Hocus Pocus as a little kid. But like, last time I saw her, she was like early 20s, I think. So kind of nice to see her.
She gave a decent performance here. I mean, it was kind of a role that could have been given to any young actress, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the role itself was not like that likable. That wasn't her fault, though. I mean, she did a good job.
I actually liked Treat Williams in it as sort of the villain. And Tim Matheson, Peter Coyote. So it's pretty solid.
I love that baby. The baby was like those scenes. He was like looking at them. Like I felt like it was really kid. Sometimes babies are distracting in movies.
It was very, very sweet. Very, very well acted and had a great message. I mean, we've all seen movies about, like father-son relationships kind of breaking down and then getting back stronger than ever. And this film does it, very, very well. So, Chris, what do you think?
I agree. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I thought going in that it might teeter to being very melodramatic, but
that's what I thought too. That's exactly what I thought.
And that, I thought it was very tonally. I thought they were playing all the right heartstrings without going too far. And I thought Brian Cox did a very great job in his Irish or Scottish brogue. And I thought it was very well acted. And it never, like I said, never went too far. Even towards the end, I thought it was touching that way with the son and father dynamic a little bit. But and like especially towards the end, when they gathered back in Scotland for a little bit. But it was just, I think, especially now in our current situation with the pandemic, it's just a great feel good movie that has hope for change, has hope for humanity, and I think people would appreciate this more than ever. Experiencing this for the first time now. So
it's a glimmer of hope. It's like a very positive story.
You know what else is like nice about it in the way of what you're saying is that I was like waiting for like the end. I mean, this isn't really a spoiler, but like they say early on, like this is like fatal illness. He's terminal. So I was like waiting for us to see like a death and then a funeral and then everybody crying, but it
didn't go that way.
Kind of like end. You know what I mean? It was like a nice ending where it's like, oh, well, I know what happens, but I don't have to witness what happens. You know?
Right.
It was a nice
I thought there was some great humor there, some great, like touching humor between father and son, and it never went that extra mile where it kind of, it kind of played the sickness a little too much, or play, like you mentioned, like a funeral or something really over the top. It was really nice.
I agree.
Do you guys remember Big Fish, the Tim Burton film?
Yeah, good comparison.
I think this is like that story, but like amplified. Like if they like pursued the father-son dynamic in Big Fish, this would be that.
Yeah, and less Tim Burton-ish.
Yeah.
I will say my one negative about this film is that like I know that they were trying to to establish a dynamic, like you said, between the father and son. But there were some scenes where the conversations were so off the track that I was like, what are these people talking about? Like there was that scene where he was talking about how his dog died, and then they were, you know what I'm talking about? And it was just a little bit too, what's the word? Like when they give the backstory, and I was like, we don't need all this.
Filler.
Yeah.
Unnecessary filler.
Yeah. And we were like sitting there looking at each other, Rob and I, and we were like, what are they talking about? I thought I missed something. You know what I mean? It was a little bit that part, like when they had these fights over stuff that happened in the past, it didn't feel, that was the only part that didn't feel authentic.
Yeah.
It's weird because their chemistry always felt authentic.
Right. And also the rivalry between Brian Cox and that other guy in the bar, like that kind of went on a little too long. Like I would have. That's
what I'm saying. That's what they were having a conversation about the dog and him and I were talking about. And I was like, I get that they're rivals, but I didn't need to know all this fake story that went behind it. You know,
it was a little much. And I mean, it's not a perfect film by any means, but it's still one of the best of the year, I think. So
I've seen, it's one of the better ones I've seen. It's one of the better ones you've actually had me see too, I think.
Okay, great.
I shouldn't even say the better. It was just I was more pleasantly surprised about it.
Yes.
No groaning involved in this time.
Yeah, some of the ones you sent me, I'm like, oh God, these people.
My selection process is getting more refined, so I'm done.
Well, you've been hitting them out of the park, Randy.
Yeah,
Last time I was on with,
Thank you.
With that Jesse Eisenberg movie and with the dog doc, you know.
That was
good.
That was a good show.
Yeah.
I also thought the cinematography in this film was like very realistic. It wasn't like mind-blowingly artsy, but I felt, you know what I mean? When they would do shots from behind or from the side, it was like, oh, this is what it would look like if I were standing there, which is kind of nice.
Yeah,
it was very human.
Yeah, that's a good point. I had this this vibe of like a 1990s type of comedy, like almost like a Mrs. Doubtfire type of film,
Well, it is set in San Francisco. So.
San Francisco, right? Yeah, maybe that's why I was feeling that. But like it felt like it was playing that tone, and even like the comedy and the dialogue felt that way. But like cinematography wise and camera angle wise, it did feel like more of an indie film where, you know, they were trying to bank on some more realistic shots and make use of what they have. So
one shot that really stood out to me was when Brian Cox's character was like half naked and drunk and walking up the hill.
Yes.
I don't know, for some reason that is with me, like tattooed in my brain right now. It was
another
so
was like after he got into that fight with his son in the water, and the son took the baby away, and he was just wandering the streets, and then he like threw up on the street, and there were like these two people. That whole moment was like very genuine.
Yeah.
Like I think people do stuff like that all the time, and we never really see it in movies unless it's like pushing the plot really like far along. But I see people all the time like making fun of people's accents, or you know, not helping somebody on the street that's sick for whatever reason, thinking he's homeless. Like those are things that happen every day. It was nice to see them just include that in the film.
And Brian Cox, he's such a natural actor. So
it was natural.
Totally
That's
believe it.
Very natural.
Yeah, I felt like it was natural too. I really loved his dialogue in particular. I thought, you know, especially towards the end, when his son was kind of fermenting in the fact that of his career choice, and the fact that, you know, he could be a good cook no matter if he's getting the approval of his father or of his father-in-law. And I just thought the advice that Brian Cox was giving him was something that we could all kind of relate to and kind of appreciate. I thought it was really touching. And as far as the script goes, I thought it was great writing.
Yeah.
This is
another thing that I liked about it. I liked a lot of things about this, clearly, but there was that nice added layer that wasn't forced at all about him recording for that. I don't know if it was a company or a school or whatever he was recording his
college. They're like
the college, right?
Department or something.
Because I mean, maybe just because I'm an actor, but I do weird stuff like that sometimes. People be like, "Oh, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me?" And it was kind of like a nice secondary story that didn't feel too forced, because it was still the same guy, you know?
Yeah, it was good. It was kind of random, and they didn't really resolve. Like, I mean, it went in a good path, but I don't know, it seemed a little unnecessary.
It was unnecessary. I totally agree, but it did help develop his relationship with I forget the character's name, but Rosanna.
Yeah,
I can't remember what her name was. Claudia, maybe, but
sure.
I think Claudia. It helped like kind of solidify he had a life outside of talking to his family, because I think we would have gotten really bored if it was just like him constantly fighting with his son and then terminal. Okay, I gotta help the baby, but this was like another layer of his life that we got to see.
It's good to have like multiple relationships going on.
I will say though, I think it was too quick of him developing this relationship with that woman, because she got like really mad that he didn't tell her that he had cancer. I'm like, you met him 2 days ago. Why would he tell you that?
Yeah, true. That was a little forced, I guess.
That was the only part that felt like it was more of a story than it was real life. Yeah. Again, to no fault of the actors. It was just the way. Maybe it was translated like that from the book. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but I think there's a lot of parts that kind of outweigh the sum. That make it into a really good movie.
Yeah, a good quarantine film.
Oh yeah.
Going on,
And
so guys, you would say
there's not too many great like rom-coms like out now. Like that's being
that's what's weird about this. This wasn't even like a rom-com, but it wasn't quite a drama. It was just kind of like a it was like a perspective of
I mean,
life.
I wouldn't call it it's not a dramedy really. It's a drama.
No, it's not funny, but it's not like melodramatic either.
I mean, there's definitely elements of love and romance in here that that's why I'm kind of pointing at as romantic comedy. But I mean,
I agree with you. I couldn't really categorize it in one of those things.
So, guys, is this on your radars?
Yeah, I would recommend somebody who want to watch something too heavy but wants to like feel something a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely on my radar. So good.
This is a great appetizer for Manhunter. No, I'm just kidding. No,
wow. All right.
It's a good one. It's a good pick. Yeah.
Well put, guys. All right, and also I should just mention real quick, virtual tickets can now be bought now. The film can be viewed at home in a virtual cinema initiative. The list of participating theaters is listed by state on the website, etruscansmile.com, or you can just do it with Laemmle. That's Laemmle, and it's basically $12 per household, and the link works for 72 hours. So there you go.
Not to cut you off, but maybe that could be a criticism too of the movie. I'm not a big fan of the title of the movie.
No,
I think it's a little. It's very forgettable and wordy.
You're saying the title itself?
Yeah.
I had a hard time remembering it. I kept thinking it was maybe because it reminded me of like Under the Tuscan Sun. I don't know if you've ever seen it before, but Etruscan Smile. Yeah. Calling it son, and then I was like, why am I saying that? But actually that might have been better because it could have been a play on words because it's father son.
I think the title overseas I think is called Rory's Way, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that was the UK. I looked it up because
That's a much better title.
What is it? Yeah, it is. But again, I think maybe because the way it's translated from Spanish to English, then back to you got UK version of English, the American version. So.
All right, guys. Well, this is a good time to take a short commercial break, but we will be back with more movie reviews. One more review today, right after this.
Under the Radar is brought to you by Magnitude Jewelry. Add a 2 to match your attitude. Patent pending interchange genuine gemstone and crystal EMF protection jewelry. For more information, please visit magnitudejewelry.com/gemgirl or call 718-268-6634.
we're back. Hey guys, I'm Randy. Under the Radar. We talk all things film, and we are on to our second film of the day. We've got The Assistant, and it is a very interesting drama. Now, this is a straight-up drama this time. Basically stars Julia Garner of Ozark fame, who basically, she plays a lowly assistant in an entertainment company to a sexually abusive boss. Basically, this is a movie that has been made in the Me Too movement, and it has a lot to say about that. But not a lot happens in the film. I personally thought it was a little dull. But you know, Julia Garner she's phenomenal on Ozark, so I had to see what she could bring to the table with this film. Jen, what did you think of the film?
Kind of agreed with you in the sense of like, I mean, obviously the message is a good one. I can really relate to that scenario. One, because I have worked as a personal assistant, a PA, sound engineer. I've done all of those things for big companies and small ones. And you definitely meet people who are, I mean, unfortunately for me, I've never been sexually harassed or abused in the workplace, but it was relatable. There are definitely people like that around, and you can definitely be in situations that you can't get out of. So, I mean, I think this is the time period with the whole Harvey Weinstein thing going on to like put that out there. But I think it could have been done in a better way. Yeah. Like you just said, it wasn't like, didn't really pull me in. Like, I think the only reason it did was because I can relate to that situation. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I showed this to a bunch of my friends, they would really be like, wow, this is what happens to us. You know what I mean? It wasn't.
So was it hard to detach yourself from the movie, like as a viewer?
Yes, I guess, but I think it could have been done better.
Yeah.
Not the fault of the actress.
Yeah, no. And Chris, since you haven't seen it, not much happens throughout the film. It's basically it's a day in the life.
Explain the plot a little bit, yeah.
It's a day in the life of this young assistant at an entertainment company. They never really specify, but basically her boss, who they never show, by the way, is like this big entertainment mogul. And there's whispers that he's sexually abusing other assistants, and he's hiring just really hot girls to work there. And Julia Gardner is kind of suspicious of this, so she basically tries to find a way to get her boss in trouble, and at the same time fearing for her own well-being and her own job. And this is all within the span of 24 hours. And it's just a lot of quiet discussions and her going to HR, and but it's kind of uneventful. And Jen and I agree on.
I just think when you have hard-hitting films nowadays that are addressing this same issue, and I mean, I feel like we've been seeing a lot of them in the last couple years, it kind of can make or break a film if it's not, like you just said, it's dull. If it's not vibrant enough, right. I think it's going to get lost amongst the ones that are really, really hitting that home, right.
This had no razzle dazzle or color at all.
Right, and it's a shame because the message itself is realistic. Like I just said, I've been in those situations before, so this is happening. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
No,
but
would you say that it's just dull, or is it a slow burn type of movie?
I don't think there's a slow burn to it's just from start to finish. You've got this very dull lighting, this very subdued performance from Gardner. She doesn't really do anything interesting in this. She makes coffee. She comes in super early.
I think it's supposed to be realistic because that's what the day would be like. That's what I got out of it, because I've done that before, where it's like my whole job was just making sure that my boss could get the right flight, or that she had the right stuff for wardrobe, or do you know what I mean? Like anything like that. Yeah. But
it was.
In a movie form, that's not what you want to see. Do you know what I mean? Like, watching me do that all day in real life really would not be that interesting to you. It sounds interesting, but it's not. I
was looking forward to seeing Julia Garner just have a huge blow up, storm into her boss's office or something happen, but nothing really happens. They don't really resolve anything.
Does it take place now, or does it take place maybe like 10 years ago?
It's shot in New York. It basically within the last decade, it seems.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like the more uninteresting parts of Office Space.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like it's taking in the whole entire day. It's encompassing like everything. And I think when maybe this is why I didn't like it as much, is like I don't really want to watch my whole day in a movie. Do you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like when you're a chef and you don't want to come home and then cook dinner for your family because you've been doing it all day long.
Yeah.
Like it was like almost a little too realistic to the sense it was like, okay, I don't want to watch a movie that's like somebody's boring day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, day in the life. Yeah.
It's not a bad movie at all. It's just, you know.
No, it's just it didn't grab anything for me.
It's just boring.
I mean, without spoilers, was there any resolution at the end that you know makes it even more impactful for the Me Too movement?
No, I mean it's really just a day in the life of this girl.
I think what it's supposed to be is, I think the impact is supposed to be that this does happen. That it's just that mundane, but it still happens. So like I've been in those situations before. I don't want to get into too many details because you know people I know watch this, but like I guess they're trying to show it from this perspective where it's not like, okay, I'm sexually harassed and then I'm gonna go get them in trouble and then I'm the good guy. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of not like that. It's a timeline of like you're taking your own job into your hands, you're taking the well-being of others. So it's kind of showing the actual like what actually happens. Very few people are in a situation that's like, you know, gets to the point of Harvey Weinstein or Matt Lauer or one of those people. It's more like this. You kind of fight it and you chip away at it, and maybe or maybe not what you did has an impact. Maybe it doesn't. You don't know.
It's not so black and white. It's basically there's a lot of shades of gray here. This girl, she knows what's going on, but at the same time she wants to keep her job. So
which is every modern day woman that works in the entertainment field or just anything that's like a male dominated thing. I hate to say that, but that's just what it is. And it's nice they're making films that are portraying that, but at the same time it's uncomfortable just to watch it just for the sake of watching.
You know, and I having not watched it, I kind of find that premise somewhat interesting though, just to kind of observe the day in life. And
I see what they were trying to do. I really do.
Yeah, so that you can kind of come up with your own conclusions and interpretations of everything. Yeah.
That's what I think they were going for, but it fell just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like a much more realistic version of The Secretary. Maggie Gyllenhaal.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about that as you guys were talking. It almost feels like The Secretary is like the extreme left version of that, where it's super sensationalized and romanticized in a certain opposite way of things. Yeah.
This is a more realistic take on that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, Jen, see it, skip it?
I mean, if you're interested in this kind of thing and you feel like it'll help you understand that world a little bit more, then yes, see it. I don't think Julia Garner did a bad job. I don't think anybody did a bad job. But if you're looking for something like to really like get you going, this would be what I would choose.
Yeah.
If you're looking for an exciting movie, don't do this.
Sadly, it will fall through the cracks, and I don't know if Garner's going to get any award nominations out of this, even though she was perfect, I think. But,
she might, just because well, I don't know what's going to go on now because of the whole pandemic, and like I don't know what they're using as what can be nominated for things, but pretending that she would. The only reason I think that she might is because I think this is a hot topic right now, and if you have the opportunity to play a role that is that realistic.
So I mean, it's a great film, and I really think Julia Garner she's definitely going to get nominated for an award. I hope she does anyway. What do you guys think, Jen?
The reason I would think that she would get nominated for an award is just because when people have the opportunity to play a role that's big into what's politically going on in the world or just culturally going on in the world, I think that always gives them an edge. Everybody wants to play a role that's going to be remembered in history. In this case, I don't think that this movie is like big enough or going to warrant enough attraction to do that. But if she were nominated, I do think people would look at her just solely on the subject matter.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, like we said before, this film will fall through the cracks, but most great movies do. So
that's true. Or it could be like a cult classic. You know how people love those movies from the 80s, and at the time people were like, "Oh, that was horrible," but everybody likes it now.
Well, this is very topical with the Me Too movement. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I mean, she definitely has an edge just because of the subject matter alone.
Yeah. So
For sure.
we
Yeah,
shall
and
see.
I think, having not watched it, but giving you guys reviews, I'm still interested in seeing what the performance is like, what the day in the life is like, regardless. So it's on my radar.
Oh, already of stuff to
Good.
see. That's good.
You just come with me to work sometime.
Yeah,
That'll be the sequel.
Corona drive-by.
All right. So The Assistant will be available on DVD, Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, April 28th. So that is in 2 days. So guys, check that out.
Cool.
Also, I wanted to give a little shout out to Magnitude Jewelry, our wonderful sponsor. With each $50 purchase, it gets you a free mask and free shipping, and over $100 gets a free hand sanitizer. So it's a hot commodity. So go purchase some Magnitude Jewelry, guys. So before we go, guys, do you guys have any plugs yourselves? Jen?
Well, not really much going on right now. I did just record a song with a bunch of people that work at the Argyle Theater. I don't know when it's going to be out. It's like a cover with a bunch of people singing similarly to how we're chatting right now. So you'll see like multiple people. They edited it together. So that'll be out. I'm still doing my dress up. If anybody wants a call from a princess or a Disney character, I'm happy to do it for your kid. You can check out my Instagram at j.co100. I still post tons of pictures of me from when I was allowed to go out in the world in public spaces and, mingle with the people.
Nice. Awesome. Cool. And again, that's such great work that you're doing, Jen.
Thank you. Oh, another thing, too, I totally forgot about. I'm working on a novel right now. I'm almost done trying to get it published. So when I do, I'll be sure to post that up here for you guys to see.
And Mr. Clemente, anything you want to
make sure you retain the movie rights and
exactly. Now I got to go copyright it.
Don't forget about the screenwriters,
Patent pending.
Just continuing to plug Foreign National Entertainment. We're writing more episodes. I'm currently writing an episode on Chinese immigration, which is really cool. And this whole pandemic, you, Randy, you're inspiring me to bring back my podcast, Movie Lovers Podcast. So people can check that out too. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much tonight. This was great. And, I just want to extend, I hope you guys are all safe and healthy with your families, your loved ones, whoever's around you, whoever's not around you. So, yeah, I wish the best to both of you and everybody out there. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. This has been Under the Radar. I'm your host, Randy Unger. We'll see you next time. Take care.
Bye.